the math department and the head of the English department, and they were discussing the dress code, and they were disgusted. They hated it. The teachers hated it with a passion. And this teacher, he said, I was going down the wing the other day, and we came to the lockers, and he said, there was this girl there, and she was getting something out of her locker, and he said, all of a sudden, she kicks her foot up this high, closes the door. He said, if she had a dress on, he said, she'd have never done that. They were appalled at how the people reacted, and real crude. They started to get crude. You never see a girl go with a dress on, sticking her leg up in the air, kicking the locker shut, you know?
Right.
And he was very disturbed about this, and this was 1971. This is when it all started. Then in that period between 71 and 76, in there, 75, 76, they came out with students' rights, and that was a terrible service they did to the students. They had their rights, and it was just a bad situation. And it just seemed to get worse and worse, and then drugs started in the middle 70s. Carol, I think, was a junior when she was starting to hear about it, and oh no, she graduated.
I've been looking for them ever since I never got it.
But anyway, drugs started to get real prevalent in the 70s. 75 up. From 75 up, it got really, really, really strong. And of course now, you know what it's like. It ruined a lot of lives. We had kids here in town that went on LSD and out of their heads crazy, and they've been hospitalized ever since. Broke up marriages.
Ma'am, not here.
Jack, you continue.
You tell them your version of how you think things have changed.
Do you agree with her on everything?
I agree with her and everything. I'm a yes man. They have the church.
I'm not going to talk. Can't talk.
Was that a salesman again?
The church I go to, they had a what they call them, church committee of some kind, and so they voted on them. See who you know.
You sent your picture in.
So I thought I had to go. I had to see run.
Somebody called down and asked him.
So I gave him a picture, and then he wanted something for me to say, you know, what I'd do. I said, put on there, I'm a yes man. I landslided.
And you won.
Oh, really?
I'm a yes man.
Well, that has no relativity to what we're saying about changing times, Jack. Pete wants to know, what have you noticed from when you were a child to now? How have the times changed, for the better or the worse?
Worse. Hadn't changed. Still looking for a good-looking woman. And I found...
No, you're the one that hasn't changed. The world has changed. Come on, Jack. Now, be serious.
Fighting all over the world.
They did that when, my uncles all went to war, 42.
In World War I, or?
World War I. My uncles were. And there was a big family.
If I was around then, we would have had it. I'd have won the whole war. I'd killed the Germans. I got rid of all them.
My Uncle John didn't want to go to war. They didn't want to go to war. They were real.
I wanted to.
And he
wanted to kill somebody.
And he didn't want to go to war. Well, here he got in the front lines. He was a bugle boy. In the First World War, they fought with horses. They had horses. And he rode a horse, and before the battle went, he had to go up and ring the bugle and sound the, you know.
Why would they do that?
Well, that's the way it was then, honey. That's the way it was. They didn't have all the machinery they have now.
You don't hear all that stuff about how Gettysburg and how they fought. Then you watch these movies, they line up and come and they just go fire.
Jack, that was before World War I. That was back in the 1800s.
I'm saying the Civil War down Gettysburg.
Yeah.
You see the pictures of how they line up, thousands of them just go right against the guns, and the guns just mowing them down.
Yeah.
That's no way to...
Over in Gettysburg, you take a bus tour, and then you go by the fields where these boys, thousands and thousands, okay? And they attack in broad daylight. They would give the order to attack, and they come into the enemy and just mow them down. And it was awful.
Yeah.
And that was in the Civil War. That was with Lincoln. And that would be about 1860 or something. And then they didn't have the next big war that I know of until the First World War in 1516 or 17.
Did your grandparents ever tell you stories of people they knew that fought in the Civil War?
Well, my uncles fought, but I never heard of any stories from where they weren't gassed or anything. A lot of men were gassed in those days.
Right.
They've outlawed the gas, and they came back with lungs, these clams, bad lungs. But these boys all came back. My uncles all came back in perfect condition.
Great. That's great.
And in the Second World War, I dated a couple of boys out of this family. They had 8 boys, and they all went into the service. Second World War, and they all came out.
Wow.
They learned nothing.
Wow.
And then, of course, we did the first. Scott was in the first Iraqi War. What they call that, Desert Storm?
Persian Gulf
He was
War.
in that, and then
David was in the Navy, then he